What's going on, Star Wars fam? I am your bro host, Daniel Miller, and not only am I joined by my two bro hosts, Christopher Ryans and Tommy Pawig, also another bro host is gracious enough to bring her presence aboard. You all know her from our Quick Shots of Bro Axiom. Vienna Enos, as you all know, is V. What's going on, V?
Hey,
Chris, Tommy, you guys doing good?
What up?
Yep.
So tonight we have a super special episode going. These girls have been creating a huge wave on Twitter in the Star Wars fandom. We are all happy to have them aboard. The Sistas With Sabers. What's going on, girls?
Hi.
Hey.
So,
Hello.
please start us off just with each one of you. Introduce yourselves. Tell us about how you all started this little journey with your podcast. Don't jump all at the same time, please.
We're all waiting for Maria. That's how it works.
Oh boy. No pressure. Oh shit, I gotta say something. Hey everybody, it's me, Maria.
Awesome.
So once upon a time, not long ago, I wanted to start a podcast, but I had no idea who to talk to about it. So I put a tweet out because I had never actually met another Black woman that was into Star Wars in real life. Put the tweet out. Within 30 days, we had a group of women, recorded the first episode, and just decided I'm going to do this because there wasn't a show for us by us, right? There's always like a guest star somewhere. There's a couple here and there, but I really wanted to put something together that was for us by us, and I learned the ins and outs of editing and how to put it together and how to distribute, all that stuff has been like guerrilla because I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm like, it can't be that fucking hard. I'll figure it out. So I did that, and I'm really, really grateful to the ladies who have trusted me with their voices and come along on the journey with me. And I started the Support Assista segment of the pod where we just highlight Black-owned businesses and Black female causes or anything that really needs support out there. So I'm really excited about it, and it seems like it's just come together overnight, but it's been a long uphill journey, and on $50 and a dream, I made this thing happen.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are hitting a part of the fandom that needs to be spoken about. And your podcast is great. I love listening to it. All of us enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, who's next?
I'm Olivia.
Yes, here we go.
Similar story with Maria. I'm just a Star Wars fan. I grew up. My dad made me watch Star Wars for homework. But I never knew any other Black women who like Star Wars, and I also had that void with anime, so I just got on Twitter. I'm like, maybe I'll meet people here. And so I saw this tweet about the podcast, and I was like, oh my god, let's be friends, let's do this. She was like, boom, here's the stuff, we doing this. So It was awesome, and now we have our own little family, and it's great.
That's dope.
Hi, I'm Raven, and I saw the tweet because I had just recently actually started interacting with Maria on Twitter, and I saw the tweet. I jumped on board because why wouldn't I? And here we are having a great time and hopefully talking about things in a way that people haven't heard before and giving people who maybe feel like they don't have a place because they're not alone, certainly. Obviously, we're evidence of that. And we're, open to other people coming in and being a part of it. So it's really been really, really positive.
Well, I'm Rihanna. I saw the tweet as well. I actually was off of Twitter that day, but I came back to my phone with 1,010,000 notifications because so many people had sent me a link to this tweet. Because I cosplay and do things like that. So I guess people see me and they recognize me. And I was so glad that they tagged me in that because I probably never would have seen the tweet otherwise. I'm so glad I did because I'm an introvert at heart. So going out on a limb is not something I usually do, but I'm so glad that I did.
Dig it.
That's awesome.
Hi, I'm Portia. I ended up seeing Maria's tweet. I was just scrolling on and somehow I just came across it. And when I saw it, I was like, hold up. This is my opportunity to hop on and join a group of ladies who are interested into the same thing that I am. And there's no judgmental, there's no judgment going around with us saying, oh, you like Star Wars? That stuff's for white people. You like anime? Oh, you're one of those weird white people. And so now I just feel included in this and I'm happy to be a part of this. So.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think
That's
it's
fantastic.
amazing how this all started from a tweet. Like it's pretty freaking cool. Like it just, you guys set a spark and now there's a fire. I'm gonna start going into the first order stuff, but but yeah, this is great. This is amazing. All from one tweet. I can't believe it. That's so awesome.
That is fantastic to me because and there's one thing I've learned. I mean, I've been a fan of Star Wars since it came out. I was 2 years old when Star Wars first came out, so I've been there through the whole thing, and not until recently, and I say recent, in the past like 10 years, has it been like, yo, where's that fan rep for us? And back then it was just like I would listen to Collider Jedi Council and like, I didn't want to start getting the names and whatnot, but everything was, Dan, I'm sorry, it was a white boys club. It was just like, there was no representation there. The only one, because while everyone was talking about Rey, just everything about Rey, I'm like, what about Finn? And I found no other YouTube channel or anything like that that said anything about Finn, except for Prince Bell over at Urban Acolyte. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him. You should check him out. He's amazing. He was the only one, so I kind of like ditched everything else and just stuck with him. And I just think that's great that there's more of us out there that are getting our voices heard and getting seen, so they know that it's not just one particular group. It's not just theirs. It's everyone's. It's ours too. We've been here for the long haul as well.
Yeah. Similarly, I found your podcast. I found your Instagram first, actually. It got recommended to me. So here, let me show you my phone. This is my cell phone.
Oh boy.
So as you can imagine, I'm not on Instagram that much unless like I'm on the computer version. So like I saw you and I don't have a Twitter and I was like, with Sabers, it's about Star Wars? Sister, wait, what? Okay, finally. So my family, I'm multiracial. So my family is Italian, Black, Puerto Rican, and Cherokee. And I'm 26. So growing up in Philly, 26, I'm a little spoiled because I got to see a lot of other Star Wars fans of color. That was never an issue for me. Like my boyfriend and I are both mixed, and we actually met in high school from having a lightsaber battle together.
Cute.
But
that is so adorable.
Thank you. But at the same time, in Star Wars, I was like, so me and Chris met working at Atomic City Comics together. And we've seen Star Wars movies together, and he knows I'd be like, where are the Black women in Star Wars? We don't see enough representation of that. And I remember when people were like, oh, now we got a woman in the lead, it's Rey. And I was like, all right, cool, but will we ever see a Black woman in the lead? Will we ever see a Latina in the lead? And then we got Jenna for like 5 seconds in episode 9, but which was cool, but I was like, all right. So then to see Sistas with Sabers, I was so excited because I'm like, okay, a fresh perspective, even though there's only about a quarter of me, with African heritage. I was like, that's still a quarter, and I was like, I often deal with questions around that inside, but I was like, this is still refreshing and I couldn't wait to hear it. And so then I went on the Facebook chat and Tommy, it was like, hey guys, why don't we talk with Sistas with Sabers? I'm like, I just found out about these people. Let's do it. So it's super exciting to see you and to hear your thoughts. It's really refreshing and it confirms a lot of things I've been thinking about for a long time that I would eventually love to go into. But I was like, yeah.
That's
You're
awesome.
welcome to come on the show at any given point too, sis. You are more than welcome. You're one of us. So
Hell yeah.
anytime you want to come on, let me know. Send an email, send a tweet, whatever you got to do. What's that, like a Boost Mobile? Send a chirp.
Boost Mobile.
Oh my God.
Whatever that is. We'll figure it out, baby.
The next hell day.
Thank you.
Holy moly. Woo.
We carrier pigeon.
Wow. Boost.
It was, fun fact, it was Virgin Mobile. And my brother always joked with me like, oh, you're their last customer. They got your picture up on their wall. And then my boyfriend and me both still have Virgin Mobile phones. And they sent us an email like, hey, thanks for sticking it out with us, but Boost Mobile bought us. Bye. And we're like, wow, we really were like with them till the end.
Yeah,
Wow.
life hasn't been the
Oh,
same
wow.
since the chirp. I have to say, life hasn't.
The chirp.
Yeah, I miss it. Beep beep. What? Got a walkie-talkie and a phone. It's the greatest thing I ever had. Miss it.
That was popular in high school. Like
Right?
everybody was getting a chirp. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
I just
Yeah.
never upgraded. There's no point for me.
We didn't have phones in high school.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean,
Yeah, payphones.
we legit didn't. Yeah, we had payphones,
Put a quarter in.
and they were a quarter back then.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. They still are.
Those things are, that's an old-fashioned
Yeah, I
sentence.
know. They just. Oh, that was a long time ago. Okay.
It's like talking about Blockbuster and stuff.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine like explaining that to someone today?
Oh,
like
man.
you went into a store to get a movie
Hey,
and
yo,
then you
that-
had to bring it back.
That
3
was
days
like an
later.
event, though. That was an event, you know. The
Yes.
guys would go, you know, plan out the
It's-
movies. Oh my god!
It's the weekend. We're going to Blockbuster.
Yeah, but it was always a crapshoot because you know that movie could not be there. Then you had to have
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
3
A
backups
backup.
just in case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you gotta go to
And
the
you had
return
to
bin
buy
and
the
see if
movie
it's there.
candy.
I
Yep.
actually saw my first
But
Star
you
Wars
couldn't
movie
buy
thanks
the
to
movie.
Blockbuster.
You couldn't buy the
Oh,
movie
shout out
candy
to
at Blockbuster. It was too
Blockbuster.
expensive.
Yeah. We had one that had an adult section. Like it had the little like blind.
Yeah.
It had the little like
Yeah.
it wasn't even blinds. It was like some beads and stuff.
Yes, that is some West
Like,
Coast
oh,
video
okay.
shit.
Yeah.
That is
Buster.
I was
video.
shuffling my ass to get over there. I'd be shuffling, you know, and I just keep moving. Okay, now I'm in the horror section. You know, I done passed Clue, you know, and my dad's like, where the fuck you think you're going? I'm like, I don't know. Everybody in there. I want to see what's
Oh
going
god.
Oh my goodness.
It's too dark in that room.
It's just called Buster. Let me stop.
on. Oh, shit.
Sorry.
It's real when the systems
Sorry,
get
cover
on.
your
Sorry
ears.
about
Cover
that.
your ears,
It's
baby.
fine.
Sorry, baby Yoda.
She's not sorry, Baby Yoda. She's not sorry.
He is a
For the
50-year-old
kids.
She's not
baby.
sorry.
For the kids. Kids.
Oh man. So yeah, when I heard you guys on the Sith list, I know I mentioned this earlier, and I was like, because I listen to them weekly, and then you guys were guesting on the show, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, I very rarely do you ever hear like specifically a group of black women like they share their perspective on Star Wars, and it's a fresh perspective because you really don't see that anywhere else. So I heard you guys, and again I clicked on the show notes. So shout out to Sith List for bringing attention to you guys and putting a spotlight on you. And I was able to discover you through them. And from then on, I was like, I have to listen to you guys every week. Whenever there's a new episode, I'm on it. Because very rarely do we see a different perspective of a fan or type of Star Wars fan. It's usually one specific, you know what I'm talking about. So it's a brand new flavor of Star Wars
Yo,
fan.
Tommy, Chewie was agreeing with everything you were saying.
Right?
I don't know if you could
Oh.
even.
He did it.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
So one thing that I've been wondering, because, like V said, that there's not too many, there's really not very many in the franchise as far as like person of color that are like main heroes. I mean, we kind of identify Ahsoka as one. At least I do. Chris does.
Yeah.
As we all do.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's our
Yeah.
girl.
Hello.
Yeah.
Face froze.
Yeah.
Insert Lionel
Like,
Richie gif here.
Hello.
Hello.
You love that gift.
So,
She does love that gift
I wear
every
that
time.
gif out. Look, that gif gets so much mileage. I'm the one making that gif work now. Fuck.
oh man, yeah, we're hoping to see Ahsoka in season 2 of The Mandalorian. That'd be so
And
awesome.
they picked the I think the only one who could pull that off. And
Rosario.
I think Rosario can do it. I thought that was perfect casting when they did. They still haven't even officially announced it. I mean, they're not going to until she shows up. But it makes me laugh when people are like, oh, it should be Ashley Eckstein. I'm like, like no, she had the voice. She had the voice.
No.
But
Yeah.
Rosario
No.
can. Yeah, no, Rosario
I
will.
don't care. I don't care about the voice. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
As long as she can pull off the character, and she can definitely pull off the character. And if you look at, us, like we said this on different podcasts before, look at her lips. There's no denying that she is not. Say again.
I was listening to that podcast like when I first started listening to your podcast, and I was like, yup. I was at work just going, yup, yes, keep going.
I mean,
The lips. Yes.
like when they were showing that picture of Rosario going around looking like Ahsoka, I was like, how can you argue with that? That is perfect, and everything you've seen her in, she's perfect for the role. It's just let it happen. I need to see it happen. When do you think she's going to show up in the Mando 2? Do you know? Like, do you have any speculation? When do you think she might? Beginning, end, middle?
I would say
She
tease
might
it.
appear at the end.
Yeah, tease it. I would hope they would tease it like in the first episode, and we kind of see it episode 2 a little bit.
I need
And
this.
then
I need
kinda
them to show
just,
me
yeah.
Afra, everybody. Like,
Yeah.
give me just throw everyone in that show. I don't give a shit. Give me all the fan service.
It's a
I
good
don't
show.
care.
It's a good show.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It really is.
it's the great path that they're taking right now with it. But yeah. So what has been a real hot topic that really hit the past week has been the John Boyega GQ interview that has been going around. Lots of fire from him. I mean, he's been a great like leader when it came to interacting with fans, dealing with so much of the toxic bullshit and still being able to keep a positive head up some of the times. And then he would still fight back a lot of these toxic assholes that would say some of the most vile shit. And still, when he comes out and speaks about his experience, people still try to put him down. But he had a lot to say. Someone help me out because I can only say so much, and I need to hear everyone's perspective. Me and Chris have talked about it, but I would love to hear you guys talk about it as well.
I thought everyone should have been great. I wasn't expecting to see all the controversy because I thought the way he spoke about it was just like, this is my experience and this is real. And he wasn't bashing Disney. It was just more so like just stating the obvious. Like, why would you tease this character and then sideline me and then they didn't even say anything about it. And it just sucks. But I thought he handled that interview really well. And I was kind of just pissed off at Twitter for that. Last week, come on, you should be grateful you were in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. That's
such an old thing. It's such a
that's that shut up and dribble bullshit.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's please go and sit in the corner and be happy with what we gave you. And you're lucky we gave you anything. And, how dare you question the way that we do things? And, we brought it up, up on Twitter. It's been brought up around, Alec Guinness has said some things about, Star Wars, Harrison Ford. Mark Hamill wasn't particularly fond of the way his character went in The Last Jedi. And I didn't see anybody expecting him to be, thrown off the nearest bridge.
Yeah, they weren't expecting him to be grateful.
Yeah, and I don't ever remember them telling them to sit down and be quiet. And well, I did, but that's just me. But it was really frustrating. I think for me, the most frustrating part about it was the twisting of what he said, turning it into a, you know, an attack on JJ or an attack on Ryan or an attack on any one particular group. I heard people twisting it into an attack on Daisy and Adam. And I'm just like, okay, you guys weren't listening at all to what he said, because he made no attacks on any of those people.
No.
And he was actually incredibly diplomatic for how hard he was hitting. He was incredibly diplomatic, and he did not, you know, pee in anybody's cornflakes, really.
Right.
I mean, he threatened it, certainly, but didn't.
He kept it focused.
He's better than I am. I would have just gone ahead.
He kept it real and professional at the same time.
He did.
He could have gone there. He definitely could have gone there, but you know, he like even harder than he did, but he didn't. Yeah, and that's what he was saying was, it was like vindication for me, because when I went to go see Force Awakens for the first time, now this is after months of a lead up of seeing when they first show him. I'm sorry, that shit gets me angry. When they first show him, the posters in the trailers when he's got the lightsaber, and I'm like, I was like,
ooh, yeah,
like so much
like,
of the
how excited you were.
I was like, we got one. I'm like, we got one, and it's and he's the main, and he's got he's not only got a lightsaber, he's got the Skywalker lightsaber. What is that about? And I was like, man, they gave us a lead. No, you know, background or anything like that. And then I was so excited, got there and saw the movie. I love the movie, but like halfway through, and I was like, oh, this is all about her. I was like, what? You know, like I was just really upset with how they
the trailer was misleading, basically.
Very much. You know what I mean? Like I get doing red herrings and whatnot here and there, but that one, that was that wasn't done right. I think.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, you were the only one, because my best friend, he's a brother. He was excited about it too. Like he saw the trailer, he's like, man, finally we're gonna have a black Jedi like as the main hero. I'm like, I was with him. I was excited with him. And then after that, he was just like, it doesn't look like it's going to go that way. And he was kind of disappointed. So I kind of felt bad, you know, because if you watch the trailer, that trailer it's supposed to set the tone for what the sequel trilogy is going to be about. Yeah. So when you show screens and scenes of Finn holding a lightsaber, you're getting, I mean, you can't help but think, hey, he's going to be the main hero. He's going to, you know, be the one to help save the galaxy and whatnot. And when you don't get that, it's like, not only are you disappointing a lot of the fans, but you're quite obviously disappointing John Boyega himself, because he kind of also was under the impression that his character arc was going to go that way, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Which is exceptionally disappointing, considering, you know, he would have been a lifelong cheerleader for this franchise.
Absolutely.
And he wouldn't have had the time off that some other people need to take before they can come back and be grateful for it. He would have been excited to be there the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, even during the Last Jedi promotion and celebration, he was in that crowd. Was it the Last Jedi? No. It was the Rise of Skywalker, the last one with in Chicago, where he was just letting crowds of people just swarm him and just giving autographs. Like, I mean, you don't see Daisy, you don't see Adam doing any of that shit. Like, it's just, John Boyega was definitely the most interactive with the fans.
Yeah,
and
you could tell he's super appreciative, like regardless, but you could still critique it at the same time.
Exactly.
How your character went. The two are not mutually exclusive. So, yeah.
And he talked about his experience, like he's saying, like, my other castmates didn't have people boycotting the movie because they were in it. That's the main difference. And it's like, for people to say, like, you should be grateful, you're like, but my experience had to be 10 times harder because of it. I couldn't enjoy the experience the way my cast members did. And now I harbor that resentment towards it, you know? And it sucks to be a part of something so amazing and huge like Star Wars, but then you have to have that, you have to track through the mud for it to be successful. And while you watch everyone else walking on the bridge, like that wasn't cool. And I think it was a good opportunity for the fandom to listen And I was really grateful that he shared it, because it's really important that
Yes.
people understand that, because it really builds compassion. And it's like, for the future, for the future of Star Wars, like, we need to be mindful of like what these actors, like Star Wars, like, we love Star Wars, but it's not real life. And we have to look at the actors and the people behind these characters we love. Like, they're going through it, and they are sacrificing stuff to give us content, Sorry, I hope that didn't sound, I was starting to ramble.
No, you're
That's what
fine,
we're
because I
here
was
for.
gonna pick up exactly where you left off, because in the article itself, he talked about like how he put dating on hold. He put so many things on hold. And you're right, as a fandom, we have to make a choice. There was another story that came out that day too, and we need to decide which story we're gonna run with. Disney and Star Wars can tell us whatever they want to tell us, but we as individuals, as forward-thinking humans, need to take the information and decide which one is more important, the humane treatment of an actor, or a series coming out that we already knew was coming out. Like, and people need to make that choice with integrity and think about what's best for the future of Star Wars. I'm not trying to say that The Mandalorian isn't a great show or I don't enjoy it, but like Liv said, like, this is real life, and it's a little bit more important than just a release date.
I mean, couldn't they have let that release date float another couple of days after that interview was dropped? Like,
Yes, they
It
could
wasn't
have
bad taste.
easily.
Yeah.
They could have.
Yeah, let it go this long. I mean,
yeah, exactly. We still haven't gotten our trailer, Could have just
They
waited.
didn't say shit the
Yeah.
week of Celebration. Would have been a great time to drop something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was in
And
bad
we got
taste, it felt.
we got that High Republic stuff, and I know.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that, actually.
Hopefully,
Get
like
that together.
this will be a learning experience for Lucasfilm. Like, if you're gonna drop a trailer or set the tone for the next series of movies, at least have some follow through with some of these characters, or if possible, all of them. Instead of teasing and not giving a certain group of people what they would love to see.
But that's also incumbent on us as fans, right? To speak what we want, speak what we're missing, what we think we need, and so on and so forth. And on top of that, when we have these discussions, about what's wrong, what's missing, what was done incorrectly, that we approach it in a constructive way, because otherwise we're just screaming. And then we're just, in our case, for us on the pod, we're just angry Black women screaming. So we're going to have to, I mean, it sucks, but here we are once again, going to have to rein it in and, and be firm. Don't, let them push us around. But at the same time, make,
Yeah.
Maria,
Come on with it. You're reading my mind here. Come on with it. You know what I'm
That's how we
talking
roll.
about. Yeah. And
That's how we
it sucks
roll.
that we
Adjust.
can't just always take the gloves off, but it's true. Like, you catch more flies with honey. And if we're really trying to get them to hear us out about, I don't know, let's say the representation in High Republic, then we want to make sure.
Hello.
I don't know.
Hello.
Homegirl got a makeover in 2 weeks. So I don't know what happened. Maybe you can help me.
What did she look like before? Because I don't think I ever saw an image of what's the character's name again?
She looked just like the lead lady with a slight tint.
Keith
she's
Trennis
ashy.
is the
Trennis.
character. Portia, take it away.
She was ashy. I'm gonna tell you this. There was no flavor, nothing added to her. She just looked it dull. I'm like, where is it? Come on. Black people, we got style, we got swag, we got it all. Bring it to this character. And they didn't. But 2 weeks later, we get that swag, we get that style, we get that look that we're looking for. I see myself in her. And now since she has these white robes, she looks a whole lot more better. She looks a whole lot more calmer, more playful. She has a calmness to her than compared to her dark robes, because it's giving her this dark, evil look, because they tend to like putting us Black people as the bad people when we're not. We're good people as well. We can be these heroes, these leaders in this type of world, in this fantasy,
I put the old version in the chat.
Okay.
If you need to look at it, because she looked at and her hair was like straight.
Oh,
And
Yes.
Yeah, it looked like she had a perm. How you
We
get a
don't
perm
have
in space?
perms. No perms. We don't
Yeah,
have
ain't no
that.
perm in space.
Right, there are no panties in space, no perms in space.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
And in the redraw, you can tell that they put a little more effort into it, and she has a little bit more of a bounce in her hair, and you know, it's in the right direction. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say it's perfect, but I'm not going to sit here and complain, because I think it's that Star Wars, like, there's people out there listening, and I think that, like, we got to hold their hand to it, you know, but we got to be the ones to do it.
Totally agree to Liv's point. Like, we have to teach them how we want to be seen and how we want to step forward. Unfortunately, if they were going to do it, they would have done it by now. It's time for us to start teaching them how to interact with us better.
Definitely.
And also why it's important. Why it's important the way that we're represented. Why things that would normally seem small are important. Our hair is important. It's important. How it is represented is important. I know it's just hair. It's not just hair. It's important.
Listen,
And when you don't know that, it becomes an issue.
Yes.
Like I say this all the time to them. Like, for 2 movies, Finn had like my fro from the 80s. You know, and like there was
Oh my God.
you know, like me and my older brother's fro, like from the 80s. Like that's just, you know, not until 9 did he get some style to him finally. You know,
It's true.
they couldn't do anything with him.
Like
They
the
just
braids
didn't know what to do with him.
I'm sorry. The braids he had in the GQ interview, I'm like, he should have had that in the movie. Like, that would have been dope.
I had the same thought. I was like, why not? And I think, to your point as well, Raven, like, why it's so important. Well, wait, I don't want to. Were you still saying something, Olivia? Because I want to.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, to that point, like, I think for many people who think, oh, it's just hair, why is it that important? There's a lack of understanding about why it hasn't been just hair and why it wasn't people of color who started it, specifically Afrocentric folks. Like, if you have, you know, curlier hair, people don't realize the origin of even the term dreadlocks and how they were the dreaded locks and how there are still hair bands today in different workplaces and school districts, and just the military, like, this year lifted the ban on natural hair. You know, people, I think a lot of people still don't realize, and I think a lot of it's not even an accident that a lot of people don't have an impetus or quick access to learn why it's so important.
I think it's because it's not considered important in the broad generalization, but also the fact that all too often when questions like this come up, they don't go to the right people to ask the question.
True.
You know, because talk about Hollywood and talk about how many stars we've heard say, I'm on the movie set, I'm in the movie. Where is a hairdresser who might have a clue what's going on over here? You know, where is a hairdresser that's done this before? Because if they haven't, it could get ugly real quick, and not through any particular fault of their own, but from just a lack of experience and knowledge that is, let's be honest, prevalent particularly in the United States, but, you know, worldwide, because I know quite a few people who have a cosmetology license who still have never had anything to do with this. And if you're going to have that license, you should at least have been to the jungle a few times.
I can't help but think of Candace Patton from The Flash, and her treatment when she was cast. Yes, Irish, Iris West. Just like her treatment, like how she didn't have a hairdresser for the longest time, and she had to learn how to do her own hair. And now she was saying that she had to like always fix her makeup before she went on set. And I think it was in the last season, the first time she finally had like hair resembling the hair that grew out of her hair. And she talked about how she literally had to fight for that. Just fight to have the hair that grows out of her hair naturally on screen. And so like in the interview when John Boyega, he said a line that said it's not a surprise to anyone, it's basically an open secret. I think everyone can see it. Everyone can see these problems reoccurring again and again with Ray Fisher and Candice Patton, like all those other Black actors in Hollywood have been experiencing these over and over again, and they've said it. It's not like it's not a surprise to anybody. And so that's why when he said it and people got upset, and I'm like, he's just saying what we've all been observing and how half of the fandom has been trying to pretend that it's not. And I'm so like, I just want more people like this space here that we're talking about it. Like people who act surprised, I'm just like, how can you act surprised when everyone knows about it? And if you're going to say that you don't know about it, then you've had your head in the sand.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because it's like, if you can have the proper representation as far as other people, like why can't you make that equal with all nationalities, all races? Like you would think that with especially with Lucasfilm / Disney, with all the money that they have, it wouldn't be a problem. But for some reason it still is. Like why? But one thing I was thinking about too was like when it came to like say Solo and we saw Enfys Nest.
Oh yeah.
She was badass. Like when she took off the mask and she looked good. Yeah. Like they got it right with Solo. Let's kind of extend that into the other films. Like maybe we should get Ron Howard to direct the other films.
Maybe.
So
that's
badass.
why we have to be
I would say let's get his daughter to direct more stuff, because I was pretty impressed with her work in The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah. I
Yes,
love those episodes.
true, very true, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, when they showed Enfys Nest on screen, like when she took the mask off, I clapped. Like I was like, she just looked amazing. I was very happy with that. They really do need to. They've got to spread out the casting. I'd like to see an alien as a lead one day. We need to work on other things first. We need the Asian lead. We need a Black lead. We need all that stuff. We need to get those out of the way first, and then well, not out of the way, but we need to get them, and then I'd like to see like a Twi'lek lead or something like that later on down the line. That'd be dope.
And eventually a droid, maybe.
Droid revolution. Let's make it happen.
If you think K2SO couldn't carry his own show.
Let me say, I love the R2 love on your podcast, because R2 is my favorite character in the whole series, and people don't give sometimes R2 enough credit, and you gave R2 the love that they deserve. And I was like, thank you.
I felt like he was so cast aside in the sequel trilogy. I was like, my heart hurt a little bit. I love
R2. R2 is like, I am old.
I'm retired.
I've seen too much shit at this point.
He's like that little one over there. He's rolling around real fast. Just let him do. I'll be over here.
He's young, full of energy.
My back.
Yeah, he couldn't even play a clear recording of Leia anymore. He's like, oh, man, I only got enough in the tank to shame you one last time. Here you go.
He spent one movie underneath the blanket. Seriously,
that was messed up. I was pissed about. I was like upset about that. But look, I got him right here. I gotta show him. That's my boy.
He's way back behind me on the chairs back there. I don't think you can see him, but there's R2 pillows on those chairs back there.
I see it.
I've got this hero.
There's so much stuff in Star Wars that are like, it's so interesting. There's such, it really is just like a huge galaxy. Like the droids and the clones, those are characters that I really are usually glanced over, but I find so many things interesting about them. Like in Solo, when they allude to like the droid rebellion and like L3, who is that to me, I'm like, you're a black lady. In my head, like, I'm like black droid.
You're too aware for this,
L3. like she's talking about like droid liberation. And I'm like, how do you not like how do you not like make that connection in your head to like the movement and the struggle? I don't know. And then how that's sort of like glanced over. Like they talk about it in the Clone Wars a little bit, and like they talk about it, the clones themselves, about what it means to be created for the purpose of fighting.
Yeah.
Things like
I
that.
was just gonna
And-
say the Battle Tales series, not to cut you off real quick, has been really deep into a lot of the clones and their civil rights and all of that stuff, and it's been super amazing.
It's always baffling to
Michael
me
Morici,
that these fictional characters could be more woke than real people.
Mm.
Come on, man.
Yeah, who is writing
amazing.
that's not like, you know, why don't we do the same for these humans that are acting?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who's in the writing room that's so aware that never mind.
Yeah, apply these stories to yourself, please, before you write these stories.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
accidental. I feel like they don't realize what they're doing because I think we were talking about this on previous podcast that in science fiction is basically what has happened to minorities. Imagine what would happen to minorities if it happened to white people. That's what science fiction is. Like these are all things that like we've been through. Like with the First Order, there's a order of people who want to like wipe out large populations of people. Like that's stuff that's happened to minorities, but now they're like, oh, what if this happened to like a group of white people instead? Like that's kind of like what it is. So I feel like those things that they don't realize like when they're writing it, and that this is like an analogy for those situations that your black leads and your leads of color have actually been through. And I feel like there's a disconnect, which is why we need more people in the room, not just in front of the screen, but behind the screen, to be like, to make the connections like, hey, do you see the dots that are here? That you just need to make the connection. You just need to make the connection because it's there. It's there. All the pieces are there.
Well, and like you said, it's accidental, I think, a lot of the time too, because if I was going to write a book or a movie or a, whatever I was going to write, the likelihood that I would write it from the position of a 6'5" white man, age 24 is pretty unlikely because I'm not a 6'5" white man, age 24. I'm a 43-year-old, mixed race woman. So, the people that are in the room, like you said, behind the camera, the people who are in the room are telling stories from their own point of view. They're not always trying to leave other people out. It's just simply that, you see what you see, you live your own experience and you talk about your own experience. And that's part of why this, this podcast works. We talk about our own experiences, which are, vastly different from the majority of Star Wars podcasts. But I think that does need to be called out, that it is partially just due to the simple fact that if you're not this type of person, it's hard for you to look at things from that person's point of view. And your automatic natural reaction is to write from a point of view that is familiar to you, and it's not necessarily because you discount those people or that point of view. It's just, it never occurs to you because we're
don't know what you don't
we
know.
only do so much bandwidth at once.
Yeah. I was just actually like last week, I was at a friend's house and we were watching this movie. It's weird. I've had like this week long with different friends watching different like 90s action and like heist movies and things. And there will be like token Black characters in there, or like token Latinas in there. And we were listening to the script writing and we're like, who wrote this? This doesn't sound realistic. And I was like, let me Google this. I bet you this is written by a white man. And every single one of these classics that we've come to know are written by white men. And it's like, okay, it's not a fault. Like you're saying, it's like when this is written by this one person with this one experience, it's not like, a fault or an attack against that person to say that their scope is limited. It's just saying, hey, you don't know what you don't know. And if you really want to have a more accurate depiction of the rest of your characters, you might want some more ears that can actually relate in the room, more minds with pens that can actually, or computers now, that can actually relate in the room.
Yeah, somebody willing to say, hey, you're wrong.
Yeah, hey, what? No one actually cares about that or whatever it is,
I wish someone would have sent something to JJ or whoever when it came to the advertising for Force Awakens. I'd be like, no, just. Yeah, because it had me thinking. I'm sorry to keep going back to the Finn thing, but that really,
please.
Oh boy, that really pissed me off. But yeah, just building him up, building us up, thinking, oh man, here we go. And then when I see this movie, and then by the end of it, Like he doesn't. Rey's got the lightsaber. Rey's got the Force. Rey's got the focus. Rey's got the keys to the Millennium Falcon. I was like, what did he get? He just got a sliced up back, and people think he's a janitor. Like, and I was just like, oh, I just feel like it was just wasted. Like, I wish I could have helped writing that movie. And the other thing is people were giving Rian Johnson a whole bunch of flack, like for the whole John Boyega thing, right? But I'm like, his writing had to come from somewhere. His writing stood on the shoulders of J.J. Abrams. And what happened there. So you can't put that blame on him. He's not the one that made him a custodian. He's not the one that made him just just scared all the time and whatnot. He's not the one that they made. And I hate calling Finn a coward because I don't think he's a coward. But they gave you that feeling, like, when he's talking with Maz Kanata, and she's like, I look in your eyes, I see the eyes of someone as a man who wants to run. And they just really didn't do him any justice in there. And to blame it all on Rian Johnson is not good. I definitely want to start it like right after, as far as Last Jedi goes. I would have given that like a two-year bump and let that character grow, and then we could get that growth in like comics or books or something like that in between.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah, it's kind of like they came up with a pretty decent, or actually really good origin story. Former stormtrooper, and they're just like, okay, what now? And it's like, there
was so much potential.
Only first order trooper to like convert and run away and turn against from being a child indoctrinated into the
Force sensitive.
That's a lot of brainwashing for someone to just walk away from.
And I mean, ignoring the simple fact that someone took their stormtrooper helmet off. Please raise your hand if you saw that before. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
That in itself was just
like, as much as the Rey's story is, it's very compelling. There's nothing like Finn's story. Right. There's nothing out there like his story.
We don't know what JJ could have done with him in the second movie. Man, I'm just so.
He just fucks off.
I wish we could have known. Like,
really, poor Finn. He just fucks off at Rose.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a failure of the imagination, because it's hard to create something. It's hard to tread on new pathway, and we know what this fandom is like. There's people out there who want it to be like the same. Like, oh yeah, they're searching for a new trio. Like, oh, there was a trio in this one, there has to be a trio in this one. They're looking for like patterns and things like that. And when a character like Finn, or like all the characters really in the sequel trilogy, don't really fit into anything we've seen before. No. And it was exciting to see that, but I feel like there was a big portion, I wouldn't say a big portion of fandom, but a very loud portion of the fandom that railed against this. And in Disney, like, they're trying to make money. So when they hear that voice, that very loud voice, that's gonna frighten them into making these bold decisions that they could have made with Finn and Rose and Rey and Ben and all these characters and Poe. Like, I think they could have been so brave with the sequel trilogy, and I see those pieces, and I'm just like holding on to those pieces. I'm like, that's why we're still here and we haven't walked away, even despite our disappointment, because we see those like potential in this galaxy and this story, and we want to see that, and that's why we're here and why we're
being louder back.
Yeah. Right, so, that's key.
Yeah.
Is making sure our voices are being heard. Like, the day that the article hit, I'm like, okay, now we get to change the narrative. Hashtag King Boyega, Disney do better. Like, we need to be the ones to turn the ship in the right direction. Because we can't let that other minute portion of the fandom be the only thing they hear.
Because they are small, but like you said, they are very vocal and very loud, and just gotta snuff them out.
And going along with what you were saying is, because this is what I think how it kind of went with as far as John Boyega.
They got scared.
They got scared. They released a trailer. There was backlash about a black stormtrooper. We all saw it on Twitter, all of social media. A lot of idiots just complaining, oh, how can a stormtrooper be black? You're a casual, get out of my face.
Bro, you're in the uniform. You don't see anyway. What's
right. Like,
they
how
stopped
can he
using
not
clones.
be black?
Tamar
what's wrong with
Morrison wasn't white.
Oh my god.
Jar Jar
Right.
could have been a stormtrooper.
So they complained
Darth Vader
about
was
it.
only white in the costume. He wasn't in
Right.
the voice.
That's what
Samuel
Chris always
Jones.
tells me.
Well, Vader.
Mhm.
Vader, yeah,
Vader.
you're like he's always black. I'm like, I agree with
Listen,
you.
listen.
Yeah.
Like
I
if
love
any of y'all,
James.
if any of y'all have ever seen Chasing Amy,
Yep.
that Hooper
Yes.
X's monologue, I was just like, I was in the movie theater like, oh,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. Like he was all like, listen, like in my house, Darth Vader was black.
Mhm.
Always, he was
Black.
the first black Star
Mhm.
Wars character. It was that voice. I'm sorry, he was black. He took
I
all
thought
the,
he was
when he
black
said
growing
like, and then when he's like, when he, in Empire, and he's like, no, I'm your father. I'm like,
Mhm.
that would make you.
You adopted?
Like, I have some questions.
His mom has
Uh-huh.
strong genes.
Yeah, right. I mean, it could just be, dominant blonde, dominant blue. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. But we don't know how the galaxy works, their genomes or whatever.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
It's all the Force. It's all just blame it on the Force. It's all the Force.
Midichlorians.
Yeah, it's all the midichlorians.
They
All
work
the
like bleach.
midichlorians.
It's like when you go Super Saiyan and suddenly you got blonde hair and blue
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
That's what
Midi
happened.
chlorians. So wait,
That'd be
Tommy, what were
interesting.
you gonna say?
I'm
Oh,
excited. What were you gonna say?
I was saying like what was I saying? Oh, so like we know that Lucasfilm has ears to the ground. They have ears in the fandom. They heard the backlash and complaints. So I kind of feel like they saw the backlash from the trailer, and they just changed trajectory. They changed the direction
Yeah.
they were going to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like if you watch Prince's video on Urban Acolytes, he had something about these Finn rewrites, and from what they rewritten, Finn was going to be that dude. He was going to be that character that at least that I was hoping that he was going to be when I went to go see Force Awakens for the first time.
I agree with that. The sides that they leaked later on, the original sides that
Yeah.
Daisy and him read,
Mhm.
kind of sounded like that to me in the original script reading, and it was clear that it was doctored after the fact. And they weren't looking for a black actor either when they picked
No.
John. He just
No.
kind of was the best, which
Right.
means, like, of course, twice as hard, half as far, right?
Hello.
You know,
Mhm, yes.
hello.
Hello.
Insert the gift here. right. Again, like it's evergreen. Like, it's
Right.
evergreen. Oh my God. But you're right. To the point, like those original documents are out there if you want to
Yeah.
look at them, and
Yeah.
they took another turn with that character from where it originally went, which
Yep.
is sad.
There was a live stream that Sam Witwer did, and this years ago after Force Awakens came out, and he was talking like he was up for the Sam/Finn role, but he said, well, then they changed dynamics with the character, so I couldn't play that again. So I'm like, oh, so it was after the fact. It was never, supposed to be a black character to begin with. I'm like, all right, that makes sense. But
Sam Witwer tried out?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That would have been interesting.
yeah.
It was dope on Supergirl.
It would have just been him yelling "Ray" instead.
Oh.
I've only really seen him act in Battlestar Galactica. He was in that.
Yeah.
Oh, Whitworth? No, I've seen him in a few things.
I've only known
good.
him as Star Killer. That's it.
Yeah.
Man, he was in this one thing called Being Human. It's this UK
Oh,
sci-fi
the
show.
That was a good
Vampire
show.
thing? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That was good.
Yeah. It's on Smallville. But anyway, yeah. So they had Finn as that, like and it was documented that he was that saber wielding badass that I was waiting for.
Yeah.
And then they did what they did. I think I remember in the theater when Han asked him, like, oh, so what did you do here? And he's like, sanitation. I was just like,
Ugh.
I was like, for real.
That doesn't make sense to me too.
Hold on
like,
a
'cause
second now.
he's the
Hold
top
on a
of his
second.
class.
Sanitation workers are incredibly important. Where
Oh,
would
no.
we be without
Yeah.
sanitation
Oh, they
workers?
are.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's not the problem.
No, like as soldiers,
I-
like for soldiers, everyone's got a job on base for sure. Everyone's got a job
Right.
on base as
Yeah.
soldiers. But people took that as, oh, he's just a janitor. I'm like, no.
Right.
Which
I was
doesn't
like,
make
why
sense
does he
because he's the
have to
top of
be
his
the
class.
janitor?
Yeah.
He's the top of his
Yeah.
class in
If he was in
Stormtroopers.
sanitation,
Thank
what
you.
the hell did Ren have him out in the field at the beginning of the movie with people.
No,
like
they're-
you don't
they're-
bring
well,
the
that was-
trash
that was
man.
his- no, but
to
that was his
take out
first
a-
mission. Every stormtrooper, they all built that base. All the
Oh.
everyone built that
Okay.
base.
Yep.
And you know, just did the upkeep and whatnot. So
I thought
It was
he
really
was, like,
inconsistent with the book.
It was.
That Journey
Yeah.
to the Force Awakens book for Finn, like it was really
Yeah.
inconsistent.
'cause they had
like I wish they would have put some of that in the movie. Like you're saying that he was a top, like like Tommy said, he was a top
Top of the
cadet.
class, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which like supposed to be like streamlined to be an officer and all that stuff. But like every comic, not every comic, but like there was some like there was like some Lego cartoon where they just made him this buffoon. Like Dan, I don't know if you remember that one quick shot where I was so mad at the writing for Finn that I had to go on a
that
little
one
rant.
comic, the one
And
comic book.
yeah, and I'm like, what? Like, stop making him this buffoon, and
Yes.
and show him that he is a top trooper and that
Let him be
he's a
competent.
warrior. They didn't do anything. I'm
I mean,
sorry.
that's
That
like
gets me upset.
that's what I love with when he took on Phasma in The Last Jedi. I was like, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of The Last Jedi, though, like to give credence to the fact that Lucasfilm has an ear to the ground, and they will change the story based on, what the fans say. Look what happened with Kelly Marie Tran. Like, come the Rise of Skywalker, she was not even a side character. It was just
Nah, she
random
poofed.
appearances here and there. Yeah, it's disappointing.
Yeah.
And then Olivia, you were gonna say something too. Sorry.
No, I was just expressing my frustration with that. Like, it
Visually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah,
God.
Yeah, build her up.
I kind of feel like that Disney's
knock
kind
her
of
up.
making up for it because she's becoming like she's the main character. I think in the
In
next
Raya.
animated in Raya, yeah. Which
Hmm.
I mean, sure, it's
Okay.
I kind of feel like it's them making up for it, but at the same time, it's like you still did her dirty. Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they definitely did her dirty, but the fact
Yeah.
of the matter is that what they're seeing the problem. They're seeing that there is a problem.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
not seeing where the problem is coming from. The problem is coming from, I'm going to refer back to Rhea again. Who's in the room? Okay.
Mhm.
Who's in front of the camera is the last thing we need to be concerned about right now, because that's not what's
Mhm.
causing the problem. The problem is being caused by the people in the room.
Right.
If you make Finn into the character that we were all hoping Finn would be, no one would care what color he is. But instead, you let the fact that some people were concerned about it right off the cuff
Right.
make you turn him into a character that just was so exactly what we always end up being.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly what we were trying to avoid. And when you do it right, Tandy Newton and Solo, we blow you up 5 minutes later.
Yes, Chris. Do you remember when we were in the theater? I was like, "Why they gotta kill the black woman off so quickly?"
Always.
I was like,
Oh
"For
my God,
real?
Her
We
death
finally."
was so pointless. It was so
I mean,
pointless.
Like I
Right.
get it. I mean, I like that. I mean,
And then everyone
I
else
don't like
survived
that. I don't like that they did it. But I was like, well, I mean, the movie ain't called Val, but it was like they should have.
But how did he survive? Like, how did everyone else survive that moment? It was
It just didn't feel like
Yeah.
it really fit. She could have survived. It was just
Yeah.
Right.
droid.
Yeah.
She showed that she was so badass. I don't know.
And they already had a death with Rio Durant, so it wasn't like they came out clean. They had already had a loss.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't necessary to kill both characters. And I also just want to promo real quick my side canon about Val and the Valacord. I don't believe that the Valacord is an item that you play. I think it's a secret code between him and her, and it was supposed to mean like a romantic getaway for them. I think that playing the Valacord is not a real instrument. That's just my head canon. That's just my head canon. Throw
It
that
all
in there.
depends
again
on
now.
how you play it.
I need to
That's-
watch
Depends
that.
on how you play.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that scene
See,
again.
Maria, that thought flowed through my head a couple times watching the movie. It's
Okay.
like,
Yeah, because there's some nuance in that acting right there, like the side eye that she gave him. Like, tell me, Tandy Newton didn't serve some serious acting and some serious looks. I was like, oh, they ain't even talking about that. They talking about some other shit. Oh, okay.
yeah.
As Woody Harrelson will do it. He'll
Yeah.
He's one of them. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
this
like
makes
that,
me
yeah.
think.
Has anybody
Not only
seen
will do it, but has done it.
Mhm.
No, you're good.
True. He ate the booty in that one movie. He went all the way in. Yeah, in the hole. Terrible.
That's gonna make my diet easier.
Yeah.
Which movie is this?
Oh my
like, I need
God. What was
to-
that movie called?
I
I
need
don't
to
even
see
remember
the
the name of
footage.
it.
He's like, what?
I don't even remember
what was
it.
it called again?
I just
For a
remember
minute-
his face being burrowed in some woman's ass. I was just like, oh no.
For
And I had to
research
go
purposes.
away.
It wasn't
For a
Plan
minute,
BX then. It wasn't Plan
I
BX.
thought you
Sorry.
meant in a Star Wars movie from it. I was like, which one did that happen in? I don't
That was
remember
in
any
Solo,
of
baby.
This is. I think I found the wrong Star Wars movie.
Oh,
I
no,
was
no.
like, I don't remember any of this.
The sexiest thing that ever happened in a Star Wars movie when Rey and Ben touched hands.
That's it. That is safe sex. Right there.
That is-
And that
Space
and
sex.
like Anakin and Padme like making out and stuff
Yeah.
when they get kind of.
Anakin
Yeah,
was
that
kind of
dream
creepy.
scene.
all that frolicking on Naboo.
Oh yeah, no, that's the moment. That's the most sexual-ish that it's gotten.
Yeah, shout out to Hayden
Absolutely.
Christensen's chest, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes. For
I
sure.
want to see Finn, you know, like that. I mean, you know, he took off the
Hello.
helmet, he took off the shirt.
John Boyega, that boy, that is a fine piece of meat right there.
I don't want to see my guy take off his shirt. I just wanted to put the boots back on. But at least
I
I'm
get it.
consistent.
I need more water.
Actually had a chance to ride Rise of Resistance. It's so good. Shout out to the Disney Imagineers. They did a great job on the
Gee.
ride.
You got to go to Galaxy's Edge too, huh?
Oh no.
Yeah, but I'm not
Uh-oh.
here to do that. I'm not here to shit on
I
you.
was
Now,
supposed to go to Galaxy's
not
Edge
why I'm
the
here.
week shutdown happened.
that's not even why I'm here, baby.
You don't
I'm
even.
trying to. We talking about John. I'm just trying to tell you that the representation was hot in the ride. I'm just trying to tell you the animatronic looked good. They even got the hair texture right. It's so dope.
Yeah.
You should do that one day. You should really go check that out.
I really.
The animatronics are letting their soul glow.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
He didn't have a Jerry curl on it, did he?
When you guys
No,
played that,
he's got twists.
when
Okay,
you guys
okay, for that
played
one,
that in
okay.
your one
Oh,
episode,
okay.
whoever cut in the
That would be
solo song
hilarious.
on your one episode, I rolled over.
That was all Maria.
Yeah, I love the
Beautiful.
music
Thank
edits
you.
in your
Thank you.
podcast. They're always great. Mm.
And
So
I
he's
almost
like, yeah.
I was driving to work listening to one of your episodes, and the Black Jesus bit from Famalam came on.
Yeah.
V, did you catch that? Did you catch that? I was like, oh, like no, they didn't. No, they didn't. I was,
Would you
I
rather
love
I
that
touch
show.
white
Woo!
Jesus? Oh, could you? No,
no.
No.
there is no white Jesus.
It's me.
It's me. You want my help or not?
You want my help or what? What's happening? You want me or what?
To the point about Finn, and all the backlash that he receives, and to Disney reacting, I think about, have you ever seen the writings? I forget the magazine from the 80s where people reacted to Lando being in episode 5, but they didn't do it until after the movie came out. And I just thought about how, like, it's amazing how the parallels were in the 80s. If you read those, a lot of fans react, well, not a lot, but like enough fans' reactions to Lando being in Star Wars and having such a prominent role were exactly the same as people today are reacting to Finn. And it made me think of, like, number one, it's amazing when a lot of people say, oh, like, you know, racism, we're in a post-racial system. No. This is the same. This hasn't changed. But then the other thing I was thinking about is, like, I wonder if the people in the 80s who wrote what they were writing had access to Twitter then.
It'd have been so ugly.
Yeah.
How many more decisions might have
It
been
would have
made
been-
with Lando's character or something? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
how
yeah.
much, how,
Just
you know, what
same
would've changed
shit,
then?
different year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it may have been worse because
I think it would've
it
been
was
worse.
a lot. It was,
Me
it was
too.
a lot
Yeah.
less.
It was
You know,
worse.
I hate to use this term, but it was a lot less tolerant back then. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it would have been
Co-sign.
doubly.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been doubly ugly.
Agreed. I
Doubly,
wasn't even-
triple.
Yeah, I
alive
remember
yet,
what you're
but-
talking about. in the back of the Insider, there were those comments at the end of the Star Wars Insider.
Yeah.
Where people could write in and leave comments. Absolutely, to your point. I think not only that, but people think that, like, to your point, racism is done. Like, racism has changed in 2020. It's not burning a cross in your yard anymore. Like, people think that's what racism is, or calling somebody an N-word and telling them to get out. Like, that's not what it is. And it has taken on different shapes and forms. And we need to identify it when we see it. We need to call it out. And it's not enough to say, I'm not racist anymore. I've got a black friend. That's not enough. You have to now be anti-racist. When you hear shit, when you see shit, when you see that black person working twice as hard as that white person and they still can't get no flowers, it's your job to speak up, and not at the water cooler, in the meeting, and say, yo, your girl's been working really, really hard, and I just want to shout her out. It's worth it. Believe me, it's worth it.
And let's be honest,
to be on the right side.
And it was really never enough, you know, to just say, oh, I have a black friend. And, like, if you think about it too.
I got a black friend. Hell, I got a pair of black boots.
Right. And, like, you know, it's funny too, like, people think that there was no, you know, that even now it's watered down and that there is no cross burning. And, like, what's you know, a lot of people don't realize is that there still even is. It still is that bad in many places. And yet, I remember in college, I was trying to tell this to a white co-student, I can't find words, classmate. And he was like, show me statistics. And I was like, how? But go on YouTube and you'll find in any state in the US, there's a video somewhere of the caricature example of racism that you've come to understand.
You can't even sometimes line up statistics with people's personal experiences, you know?
No.
Well, because a lot of people, I know I've experienced it, we don't talk about it all the time.
Right. Right.
I hate when people say, show me the statistics, and you're like, but I'm black. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm telling you
not
enough.
Your life is not enough.
Right.
They want
and
proof.
statistics.
I need papers. I need papers. I need papers. What papers? I'm telling you.
White papers.
White papers.
Right, and there's a reason why a lot of stuff just doesn't get recorded and doesn't get put onto paper.
Statistics can be manipulated. Statistics can lie to you. Like,
absolutely.
Like, and if you have any sort of math brain, like, you understand that statistics lie all the time.
And I mean,
so, like, even that, and that's so dismissive to be like, I don't trust you, but I'm gonna trust numbers. Like, you know, and there's enough voices saying it. Like, if like we're all here saying one thing, and they're like, well, I have one black friend who disagrees with y'all, so clearly that one person is right and all of you wrong.
Are you okay, honey? Do you need a glass of water?
Right.
Yeah. So, sorry, I don't know what caught me.
You're okay, honey. It's gonna be all right.
Like, to go back on what you guys were saying, like, they say, like, that saying where history is recorded by the victor or whatever, like whoever's on top and stuff like that, and that's sadly true, you know, and that's why things need to change.
Absolutely. And we have to be open to accepting the way things happened, the way things are happening now, and how that is the same, so we don't make those same mistakes. Because I think a lot of times when we talk about the things that happened before, it comes across as, I'm blaming you for X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, I want to make sure you understand, so we don't do X, Y, and Z to the next group. That's my concern. And that's, you know, exactly what Sistas with Sabers is for me. It's not about me. I'm 43 years old. Okay. The damage has been done, but I don't want some little girl like me to spend her whole life thinking she's alone and she doesn't belong and she's not really a part of this group, that she's only a part of when it's convenient for some people, but that this is who she is and there is nothing wrong with it. She is not alone and she can find those people. And that's what this is about. But it's that same principle, you know, and it doesn't matter who you are. If you're a member of the LGBTQI community, that's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing, because you're talking about a situation where you're like, listen, happened to us. Okay. Why are we doing it again? Right now, we're crying about making apologies for stuff that dead people did, but yet we're turning around and doing the same thing to another group of people. And it's just like that to me is the thing. We have to learn from our mistakes, talk about what we did wrong so we don't do it again. And then we don't have to apologize 30 years from now.
Star Wars needs to get I'm just saying, Star Trek has been making some great leaps and bounds with Discovery and Star Trek,
Deep Space
Star
Nine.
Wars. They need to start talking. You know, who's working behind the camera, as you were saying before. Because
Trek isn't afraid.
And a lot
I'll
of
tell you
people
this.
say,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, a lot of people say, the best apology is changed behavior.
Yeah.
And that's all you need, if that's all you, and like,
yes, ma'am.
With which I was gonna like go on a tangent to one of your episodes that Ray is the biracial experience. That what you were just talking about, your points reminds me so much of that, and that episode, like that hit so many things for me, and like to hear, Ray is a shining example of that. I was sitting in the theater and watching, and I was like, there are so many great allegories here for how she could be, feeling a myriad of emotions, right? Finding out that she has the potential to be so destructive as a Palpatine. She has so much of that in her. Like, sure, we've seen even with Great Jedi, with Luke, and with Padme giving some patience to Luke. There's like this theory that like Luke had more of Padme's patience and Leia had more of Anakin's fire, etc. But there was potential for darkness in all of them, and like you were saying, there's potential for being destructive and evil within everybody. But obviously, given Rey's heritage, to find out she's fighting the good fight all this time, and to find out, boom, she's got her grandfather doing not just dark side things, but like he is the main dude responsible for a bunch of shit that's happening in the galaxy. What you gonna do with that? And she could take it in many ways. She could be like, well, I'm not my grandfather, I'm not Palpatine, so like why should I have to do anything? I didn't make the Death Star. It's not what people are asking of you.
Right.
It's what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do with that? Because you're being shown the opportunity to turn your back on all that you know to be good about the people that you're surrounded by. And so are you going to step to the power, or are you going to acquiesce to it and take your seat on the throne? That could be used in a lot of metaphors with society. And, we saw what happened.
Are you going to embrace your heritage or flip the script?
That was fire.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. I was so happy to see that. What were we going to say, Chris? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I forgot.
He was all in it. He was like,
I had something to say.
I'm all in it. I'm here for
It'll
it.
come back to you. Somebody else start talking. He'll come back.
He'll come back. I'm old. Yeah, I'm old and dirty. I'm starting to forget things.
Yeah,
So-
Not just
talk.
Oh.
Go ahead.
What? What? I was just saying, like when we were talking about before, with like how the books sometimes argue with events that happen in the movie and things like that. I find that very interesting. With like the sequel trilogy, a lot of like there was so much world building that could have been done. There's so many questions that like we had, like how is Finn a top like student, but also like the sanitation worker, like what's the structure of the First Order? How does the First Order work?
There's still a lot of things we need to learn.
Yeah, there's so many questions that are just like not answered by movies whatsoever. And even in the books that give us some answers about questions, it's like changed. And I feel like there's like a disconnect maybe over there behind the scenes about like storytelling decisions. And I feel like a lot of issues might be solved if like there was a little bit more clarity on sort of like where they want to go, what are the rules here of the world, and if that makes any sense. Because I feel like there's a good foundation there. Like if you understand how the structure of the world you're playing around in works, then you could build on from there. Like the prequel trilogy, whatever you have to say about it, had a really good world building. You understood how things work, like the Senate worked and the Trade Federation and all the power structure. You understood how to work, so you knew what the stakes were. But in the sequel trilogy, like I feel like the stakes were like, what, like, yeah, like after Snoke dies, you're like, what happens now? I don't really know what's going on. Like you blew up the main power structure. It's very confused. It's very confusing. And I feel like that is also something that needs to be addressed. Like, and I feel like then you could build up, like, to have really strong characters, because once you understand the way your world works, you can place people in that world and how they interact with it.
Yeah. That was and I just remember what I was going to say, but it's almost along those lines. You know, we had Resistance, and I was very excited for that because that showed more within that time era. Those books that came out between Last Jedi and and Rise of Skywalker definitely helped, but there definitely needs to be more comic series and stuff like that. My thing is, I think there's fantastic representation in the books, in the comics.
Oh yeah.
In the animated shows, definitely in Mandalorian. It needs to continue. Like, I don't know what's coming down the pike as far as these new movies go, but it needs to follow that framework. Because I mean, you've got Dr. Aphra, who is an amazing character, and I'm glad that there's a main Asian character, and so I would love to see them do so much more with her. Like that, like, you know, they got lightning in a bottle with that one. Please go forward with that and do more. Like the current Afro book that that V Dan and myself are reviewing, that her crew is so mixed, like Rogue One mixed. Like it's just got like so many different people in there, and I love that. I mean, it's a galaxy that has millions of worlds. Show that.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is supposed to be diverse. Let's keep it up.
Yeah.
And the comic books have been doing a great job, I feel, too. And that's why me and Chris love them so much. The stories that have been exploding in there, it's awesome. Sana Staros, for example, her relationship with Aphra in that audiobook. Did any of you guys check out the audiobook with Aphra? Yeah.
I haven't finished the audio drama yet, but I'm working on it because I'm switching between that and the new Clone Wars thing.
Okay.
And I'm kind of disappointed that there's not enough like new stories in there. Like, I really thought that we were gonna. Right. I thought we were gonna get some hot new fire. Like, okay, this is where I'm gonna get the ending to Cad Bane. Like, nah, we gonna retell the little Wizard of Oz story or something.
Like,
it was terrible.
Like, everything you go, I'm like, I remember that story. I saw that episode.
Next.
I think the only thing was what was it? The Night Sister story was like the only new thing in there.
Fresh take, that was the only thing that I thought that was fresh, but I haven't even went back to it since because I'm just like, okay, it's probably more the same.
Yeah, but I kind of dropped off of that because I'm listening to the Thrawn book right now.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Oh yeah, so have I. It's been good. It's been really good. And you know, just from hearing you guys, I knew nothing about that High Republic character that you said came out looking plain as shit and now actually has some life. I think that is a great example of how things are starting to go in the right direction, and that's awesome. I mean, that's just great to hear that, you know, someone's listening, and hopefully more ears are on the rail, you know, listening to voices like yours, Chris, and everyone else.
And it's small steps, baby. It's small steps. We're not gonna win this fight tomorrow.
No.
But the key is like identifying those people who are interested in making positive change in the fandom, and then let's rally behind those people. Let's amplify those voices, so that we are louder than the misogynistic crowd over here. So that we can get real change in Star Wars. And just bringing it back to the article for a minute, like how brave was John to be that young in a hostage situation on a boat in the middle of nowhere and saved everyone's life on that boat. Like, that's a movie in and of itself. Like,
Real life
wow,
hero.
how amazing was that? Like, and the work that he's doing socially, like, he's doing so much right now, and I'm just so grateful that we even got him. It's not that he should be grateful for Star Wars. Star Wars needs to be grateful for him.
Absolutely.
That's the way it's supposed to go.
Beautiful.
That's the way it
Hashtag
should
King Boyega.
That's it. That's it. And that's what we have to send them back, because they want to send us a message. We need to send one back to them and let them know, nah, we ain't buying that shit. We ain't going for the okie doke on this one. We ain't buying that shit. Not at all.
And I think where he was talking about like Daisy and Adam, he was like, they know this. You know, I'm pretty sure they probably agree with him. You know, I think I saw an article, I didn't get to finish it, but it was like George Lucas would have probably treated Finn differently. And I'm really, I want to believe that. I wanted to know what everyone else thought.
Like better, differently?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not in the writing because he can't write dialogue, but oh, whoops! Did I
mean,
say that out loud? I was on mute.
You ain't wrong.
I feel like
you
if he has
ain't wrong.
I mean, insofar as he can, I guess, right?
Masterful storyteller.
It's Obi-Wan's fault. He's holding me back.
He can build a world, but he cannot build a conversation.
No. Keep him away from the dialogue.
I feel like if he has like a partner in crime, maybe he's like, I have this idea in my head, and have someone help him get that idea out. Because I definitely, because honestly, like, we have to really, like, George believed in his vision when he was creating Star Wars, that he dedicated so much of his life and his finances to create this universe because he believed in it. And that's why it's so unique and diverse. And from when it began, he made this world what it was, and he believed in it so much that he inspired everyone on that team to believe in it just as much as he did. Like, I remember in an interview, Carrie Fisher said something about, like, everyone's always asking, oh, were you surprised that it became a hit? And then she's like, literally everyone knew this was going to be a hit except for George. And, you know, so, like, because it's such a it's a movie, it's a series made with love, and you could feel that. Yeah, so I feel like, if George had gotten his hands on Finn, I think he would have had lots of ideas. That's one thing that I think you could say for George. He is a man full of creative ideas. Yeah. But, you know, you can't rely on just like one person or a few people that you believe in. Because I know people are like, Dave Filoni is our only hope now, or whatever nonsense. And I'm like, no, you need to build a team that understands what Star Wars is about and make that team diverse so we can tell more stories.
That's what was great
Dave
about...
is great, but we need more.
Like, having all of those different directors on The Mandalorian was, I mean, Deborah Chow, Ron Howard's daughter, I can't think of her name right off the top of my head. Bryce Dallas, there it is. Yeah, I mean, you've had so much diversity in the directors. Takiti, how the hell do you say his name?
Taika.
So sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
But he did so, but he did two, sorry.
You're the shit, Chewie.
I ruined everything. But his 2 episodes were fantastic. I'm just gonna walk off.
No, you stay right there.
Hey, you know, that's the thing. That's the thing. Is like, if you pronounce a name wrong, like, we're all unified. We're gonna help you say it right, and you're gonna be like, I got this. This is the kind of community we want, you know.
Yeah. We're not gonna clown you too much. You're not.
Yeah, we're not gonna,
no.
Right.
You don't have to.
We're laughing with you, not at you. With you,
water.
not at you.
A little bit. Right. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I think John's experience on set might have been different today if George were handling the films. I think the biggest change in George's life of recent has been Melanie Hobson. And since they've been married, and those people in the room right now who have a significant other can understand this. When you meld with somebody and you get to see the world through their eyes, it really helps to soften those parts of you that you are not open or aware of. So I think Melanie is really his ace in the hole, and we don't talk enough about the Queen in Star Wars as a whole. Like, people try to sweep that stuff by because don't nobody want to acknowledge it. But I think now that he's had a chance to see what life is like and hear her story, I think that he would have had better treatment on the set. Now, I can't say anything about the writing, but I can say that I do feel very strongly that his set experience would have been different because she and him are on such a consistent wavelength. Even when you hear her in her interviews talk about him and their relationship and their wedding and the way that they came together for the museum and the charities that she's a part of, and he's become really passionate about social activism because she's passionate about it. And that's what happens in a good relationship when you both love each other and you're on the same point and you're trying to get somewhere together. That's what a real partnership looks like.
Yes.
Right.
You said
Definitely.
that, yes.
Yep. Nothing to add to that.
No, not at all.
So this has been a great episode. About an hour and a half of awesomeness. Thank you guys so much for joining. Do you guys, V was actually suggesting that we should do your support assista segment. Anything, you guys got anything? Because I would love to bring that on this show.
What do you want us to add?
Or V, you have an idea?
Anybody got one? I think
I got one.
Go for it, baby. Then you go.
I got one of those.
I'm a prepared kind of girl. What can I say? So normally we do support a sister, and this is our way of trying to help the community. And I chose this week a couple of fun ones and a couple of good ones, smart ones. So we'll go with a smart one, which is crown-inspired masks. And they make beautiful masks for your face. Not as good looking as Kylo Ren, but honestly, if you don't have Adam Driver's hair underneath that helmet, you might as well quit anyway. So if you're interested in some masks, really brilliant, beautiful colors, and just a different look, you know, than a just typical surgical mask, and in these times, go to crowninspired.com, and they have these beautiful masks. And also, I believe there's a discount right now if you sign up for the email list. So there's that. And then also for those of us who are having a good time, Black Leaf Vodka. And that's at blackleafvodka.com.
I'm going to check that out. On it. I'm a huge Bloody Mary fan. So
I thought I would do a responsible one and a fun one.
Yeah, that was good. I like both.
Thank you.
And would you guys like to sound off where your Twitter handles, where we can find you all, and all of your...
Hold on. Before that, I did have a question. I did have a question that I forgot because I'm old and stupid.
Stop
Go
beating
for it.
yourself up like that.
There was an image that came out weeks before Rise of Skywalker came out, and it was Finn and Janna on those space horses, just running. Now, there's something about that. There's something about that image that, like, I got choked up because I was like, oh my God, this. If you think about it, that's the first time two Black people on screen together in a Star Wars movie. I was like, I never thought I'd see that. Like, that was amazing to me. Seeing those two talk to one another was incredible. And then when it came to at the very end, when that Star Destroyer is plummeting and they're like falling down, and Lando comes to save them.
Yeah,
that was just that was like much. I was like, look at us saving the galaxy. Like I was just I thought that was a fantastic moment. And like, I know you guys may have some issues with Janna, like not being represented enough, not being fleshed out enough in the movie and whatnot. But what did you think about those scenes in particular?
I loved it. I loved seeing that. I also was like, God, I hope Star Wars like takes advantage of them, like of Black people being Force sensitive but not being Jedi. You don't have to be Jedi to be good with to wield the Force. And I want to see that. I want to see a race of Black people in the galaxy somewhere using the Force in a non-Jedi structured way, because it's like I want to get like a Wakanda version of it. You know?
Dig it.
Yeah.
Dig it.
And
absolutely.
It's like let's see that, and it makes me hopeful, and it makes me like that was a shimmer of hope. That definitely was a shimmer of hope for me.
Yeah, because I remember, like, for myself as a kid, playing with Star Wars figures, Like around after 1980 when Empire came out, I had Lando. Then for 83 when Return of the Jedi came out, I had 2 more versions of Lando that came out, maybe 3. So it was the same character, but as a kid I had to name each one. Each one was a different character, and I played with them, and they were just 4 different characters, just so I had some little color sprinkled in on what I had there. You know, that was all my thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know. I just want to ask the rest of y'all what you thought about those Rise of Skywalker scenes.
Well, it's fitting that we're talking about it right now because John Boyega actually mentioned it in the behind the scenes documentary for Rise of Skywalker that him and Naomi Ackie were on screen together, and he said something to the effect of, I can't remember it exactly, but he's like, isn't it amazing that 2 Black people are going to lead the revolution that will save the galaxy? Yes. And I said, yes. That's poignant. And to your point, like, we come and we save each other, and that's what we should be doing. And that's a point where I really want art to imitate, life to imitate art. Like, we have to show up and we have to help each other and we have to get on the same wavelength. And I think that's an important takeaway. But I really liked the Space Horse and the Django-ness of it all. Like, there was a lot there, and it was a very moving scene. I just wish I knew more about Jannah. Who is she? Where's she come from? You know, what's her favorite color? I don't know anything about her, because I was so excited when I saw like the character design and all that, but it's like I couldn't even buy a shirt. Like, I'm just like, after what they did to Val, like I can't trust you. And they ruined like the relationship there. They broke the trust. So it was like, we'll just see what happens, and we'll wait this shit out and see where we go. But I do want to say, for all the problems with Jannah's limited screen time, I am excited that we got a woman with natural hair, right? She wasn't overly made up. She wasn't overly sexualized. So there were a lot of interesting points there with Naomi Ackie and her portrayal. And she seems to be just a wonderful person too, like really happy and excited to be in the Star Wars universe at all. So
yeah, definitely.
Man, I have learned a lot. Like when it comes to the representation, but details of representation, just as far as even hair goes. And that's the biggest thing, is to just keep listening.
And before we wrap up, I wanted to just say, like, what I hope, or what I think will happen with the beginning of the Sistas With Sabers. It's you guys are going to be the pioneers that will lead others to be inspired to do the same. And hopefully we'll grow to a point where your voices or our voices will drown out the toxic nonsense that's all over social media, and Lucasfilm will start to gain a more realistic perspective on people of color, and they will start to gain like the bravery that they need to take a stand. You know, hopefully with the next series of movies, they can, you know, put out a trailer that will portray a person of color as the main hero, and they won't be afraid to run with it. And we can go from there, drown out the voices, and say, you know what? Yeah, let's go. Let's watch them work. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I think it's good for them to take a step back right now. Kathleen Kennedy said she was serious about taking a step back. I think it's important to do that for sure.
Definitely.
They got plenty of time.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. I want to add. Oh wait, Chris, were you gonna?
I was going to say, and I know that they kind of got cold feet when it came to. Now, for me, when I think of Poe and Finn, like the first thing I thought, like when Finn broke him out, I was like, Star Bros, they're just the bros, they're doing their thing. But and other people saw it a different way, as in like maybe being a couple and whatnot. And
that would have been so sweet.
I mean, you know, that would have been daring, but goddamn, people would have.
Oh, you know it.
And like
another backlash.
Yeah, and like people were already shitting on Finn. I'm like, y'all gonna add more? Yeah.
I think it's time for them to make a change there as far as representation in that avenue. That dry kiss at the end of Rise of Skywalker was
But
just
again,
Karen
that's a
sticking.
situation where the person who made that call wasn't somebody who's a part of that community who would have said, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what you
They
need.
they
That's what
threw
they
a little
don't
crumb.
have.
They threw a
Yep.
crumb to the community on that one. They were ticking boxes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To add
But
also,
like I said, the books, the comics, they got it covered. They've got it
Shout
all
out to
covered.
Ray Sloan. I love you, Ray Sloan.
Bring her on screen.
Yeah, well, we got it in Squadrons coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But,
we do.
but like when it comes to gay relationships and racial representation, the books and the comics do a damn good job
That's
with it.
true.
They
Yeah.
do a
That
damn
is
good job
true.
with it. Now they just need to, bring that to the main stage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Stop
not
being
make it
afraid.
into porn. Like that's no, for real, because my brother is gay and he often talks about how like so quickly as soon as gay people get put into a movie, especially lesbians, it just gets pornified for consumption,
Yeah.
so that
Well, because they know that that's the shock value of it, because people sit and act as though there's something going on in those relationships that isn't going on in yours. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's the same stuff. And most of it is complaining that somebody didn't pick up their socks. Okay.
Right.
Like,
right,
I'm sorry, there's not as much difference as you're thinking that there is. And also, it's none of your business who somebody else goes home with.
right.
Hello.
So just,
That and
right.
Evergreen.
Seriously,
It's
like, how is it
evergreen.
affecting
Keep
you?
doing it now. It's
right,
evergreen.
that,
See, but
right,
you guys keep doing that, and my relationship with Lionel Richie is strained.
Oh.
Yeah, we can do
That
So
is
mad
that.
at him.
We could do that meme all night long.
oh
Oh
yeah.
God. I'm
That
I'm
is
sorry.
out. Me
I'm
and
sorry.
Lionel got
No.
beef.
Wait.
I want to
Oh
know.
wait, I
Oh
remember.
Lord.
Yeah, you
Um,
remember.
Yeah.
Also, women, it's no secret. We know women have been commodified for the male gaze historically in cinema, especially. And so I feel like because there's also this culture of, women are like Pokemon, right? Gotta catch them all. There's the fantasy of, oh, well, it's cool to see one woman in a sexual situation as a straight man, but two, even though they'll never fuck me, but two, wow, my eyes are just.
Oh,
Most men couldn't handle two women. They'd end up crying in the corner
Most
somewhere.
men can't handle the one. Okay, let's be clear about that.
Hello.
But,
Insert gift.
I want to add also, like, with what, just, there we go, sorry, I got excited. With what everybody was,
Women.
the Italian part coming out, it's stuck in my hand. But with everyone, what we're talking about with representation, I think, keeping in with the spirit of any progress within Star Wars, there's always the theme of hope, right?
Mhm.
There's always hope. So I think we'd have to parallel that in real life and keep that spirit of hope alive. And, unfortunately, a lot of times it's like there's this need, and especially Black women see the need, or if they have the need, it's like, well, we got to go, all right, so I'll do it myself. No one else is doing it. And you have all done that with Sisters with Sabers. And just like, there it is. I think you be the change that you want to see, which also, real quick, makes me want to add a supportive sister with something happening in Philly, if I may. So, okay, there's Mama T, T-E-E, like T-shirt. She is doing these pop-up fridges, like these yellow refrigerators in the city in different areas that have a big income disparity and like notorious food deserts throughout the city. And she's got just free, fresh fruits and vegetables ready, water ready for people who are homeless, who maybe can't go to a food pantry, and they can come and grab food and eat. So it's trying to help with food insecurity. She's on Instagram at Mama T. There's like Mama T fridges, and then she has her own Mama T page, and there's a website also where you can get like merchandise that helps her to put more fridges up throughout the city. But it's really helping a lot, especially Philly's facing a huge, I mean, the U.S. in general with the virus, but it's facing a huge like homelessness problem, and people are trying to evict people right now from nowhere. And it's like these people need to eat, you know, and so Mama T is really helping out with that.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is no longer like a request. I need you to come on to Sisters.
Nice.
You are ready.
Come.
That's
When you are ready, we are drafting you, bitch. You're done.
An open
Please.
seat.
Come
Get
up
in.
off the bench. Yes.
There we go.
We need it.
I have a charity for Support a Sister. It's a charity founded by a Black woman. It's called Black Girls Do STEM, and it supports middle-aged girls in to pursue STEM fields, which is science, technology, engineering, math. And yeah, it's a program. They have like different programs you can enroll in, and I can send the link over. And they have like cool like little programs about like cosmetology, developing like makeup and like other like biochemistry stuff. It's really cool. And it's for like middle-aged school girls. So it's like they can target them at a young age to close that achievement gap. Get more people of color involved in those fields, because the goal is to make these careers look like how America actually looks, you know. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, all right. I mean, I thought I was ending the show before.
I know you tried.
Am I doing it now? Am I allowed to do it now?
Go for it, bro.
People were catching the spirit.
It's good. It's good. That's why I shut up. But
You got to let people do them. They got to speak in tongues. They got to run around, and then they got to fall out. That's just how it is when you catch the spirit.
As you were saying before, these small toxic fandoms, how loud they are. We just got to be louder. So if we got to be longer and louder, I don't care. Just do it up. But we love to end this with you guys being able to plug anything, where you guys are at, your Twitter handles, your Sistas With Sabers, pages, anything like that. Please lay it on us and lay it out to everyone else.
The pod is at Sabers With on Twitter. I'm at Blurred Girl Jedi on Twitter. We're at Sistas With Sabers on Instagram. This week, my support assistant is the Loveland Foundation, and it's Black women in psychology helping to get therapy and treatment to underprivileged Black women in the community. So you can always stop by the Loveland Foundation and either get services if you need services, find out where they are in your area, or donate. So that's what I want to plug right now.
Fantastic. Anyone else?
I'll go. This is Raven, and I'm at Janabella J on Twitter. It's the only place I do anything. If you follow me on Instagram, you're going to be super disappointed. And I would like to just once again plug Crown-inspired masks. And the reason why is because I have a shoe problem. And during quarantine, I'm not working. So I can only wear my shoes when I go to the store. And it seems kind of silly. But if they match my mask, it's rocking. So Crown-inspired masks, y'all.
Dig it.
Nice.
You guys can find me on both Twitter and Instagram under Portia Ariel, and also you can check out my new YouTube channel. I'm still new at it, so yeah.
All right.
I'm Rihanna. You can find me at BinaRay _ on Twitter. I do cosplays, and anything else that I'm on, you can find it there. So that's a good jumping place to start off there.
Nice.
And I'm Olivia, and you can find me at Olive Gelato on Twitter and on Instagram. I run the Sistas With Sabers. We're just that on Instagram. So I'm mostly on there. I really try to get back to people. As Chris knows, I suck at it. I probably take a long time to respond to things. But I'm getting better. My goal this week is to get better. So.
And V, since you're not on Poo-Doo as often as you should be.
She's gonna be on Sisters now.
Yeah. We just lost her.
Oh my God! No.
Like, So you can find me on Instagram at Vienna Enos Arts. I don't have Twitter. I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't use it a lot. I am working on music though. I use my Instagram for art and music, but I'm gonna be actually like putting music out eventually.
Yeah. Y'all should look her up.
Hopefully.
She's an amazing singer. V is an incredible singer.
Amazing.
That's our help assist
very-
segment
yeah.
right there.
Yes.
Yep, there you go.
Seriously.
I actually, we're gonna be like adding, you know, as we add more content into Roxy, I'm gonna be like doing more commentary on the music of Star Wars. I'm really excited for that.
Fantastic.
It's great.
You and Raven have to connect on that.
I just did the panel
I
at Forks
smell
Fest
it.
on music. Yep.
Nice.
That is awesome. Great.
I think V. I think your first thing should be those lounge singers from Solo.
Oh, you know,
Yes. Dress was fire.
In it.
Yes.
Tommy.
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, Star Wars Savage. I'll pop right up. I don't have a help a sister out segment, but I do have a help a brother out segment. I'm in the middle of moving and it's hot as fuck. So if you could help me, I'd appreciate it. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that.
I'm sending you a case of water right now.
Oh, I'll take it.
Chris.
Hey, you can find me right here, man. I'm chilling.
I'm gonna be throwing those Beyond patties through your window. I told you.
Oh,
hook me up.
yeah.
Hook me up. Hook
Food,
me up.
Chris.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under Chris Ryans.
Nice. And me, I'm at Stay on Farget.
Damn fart. I'm gonna search.
Stay
that
on
right
target.
now.
42. God, I'm just cutting out tonight, everybody. I can't say words. I can't say names.
Stay on what? Stay what again?
Stay on.
Stay on target.
Stay on
42. You can find me everywhere: Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff, and
Bro
I'm
Accent.
normally this much before.
You
So-
just let everybody know what you're holding in right now.
Yep.
I wish I could fart
Why do
tonight,
you
you
think
guys.
I've been
I'm
trying
blocked
to end
up.
the show? All right, come on.
He's about to
Anyway.
explode.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you
Yo,
all for coming on. This has
For
been
real.
so much fun
Mhm.
and
Thank you.
informative, and that's how your podcast has been to me, and I love it. You guys are spreading a great word and awareness, and it's amazing. So thank you so much for coming on, Shoot the Poo-Doo
thank you
with
so
us.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Hopefully-
Thank you for
having
having us.
Awesome. So may the
Thank you.
force be with everybody, and have a good one.